In the previous video, I took the stripped out donor challenge Stradale and rebuilt the exterior back to factory spec, with the exception of one subtle change: the brake calipers. Those went from black to red, and I asked for your opinion. Once again, you guys delivered. It boiled down to 3 options. A few of you said go back to the black factory ones. Many of you agreed with keeping them red. However, a large number of comments surprised me and suggested yellow, a colour I hadn't even thought about on the silver car, and not an option I even recall ever seeing. So I did some research on an excellent site, the Challenge Stradale Register, which has painstakingly documented the majority of all known 1,288 cars over many years with pictures and specs. Now, yellow calipers on a silver Stradale is quite a rare spec. I've got to say, I like the option. The yellow blends very nicely with the shields, but for this moment I'm going to give it a little thought. For now, we need to rebuild a Ferrari. And right here inside the car is going to be my office for the duration of this video. We've got all of the stuff ready to go back in. I've just received a very cool package from the trimmers. Let's go and have a look. Now, before we take a look at the stuff, let's have a look at the donor car and what was left over from the build. So we have got no dash, no lower dash. We have got pedals, we have got rubber mats because we changed the Spider to the Scuderia metal mats because of the extra strengthening that was down in this area. No center console, no gadgets, anything like that in the middle, no door cards. But what we do keep, or what we managed to keep on the car, because it was different to the Spider, was all of this area back here. And so we've got the Alcantara, we've got the harnesses, which is an absolute must for a Stradale. And I want to retain that, obviously, so we have to match the rest of the car with that. Now, at great expense, I have managed to acquire absolutely everything, all genuine, to go inside this car. Let's take a look. So here's our bits to be retrimmed. These 2 bits in particular, they are from my original Ferrari 360 many years ago. And there's not many 360s out there with this optional extra. So this was a factory extra you could order for not just the Modena, the Spider, but also the Stradale. The plan here is we're going to have all of this retrimmed, including those to match the Alcantara at the back of the car there you saw on the firewall. So we got the center console, center bit, front bit, radio box, lower Challenge Stradale dash, airbag, top dash, and then we got a couple of extra bits here. So like I say, radio box that's going to go in red Alcantara to match the lower dash. This is a just a little pretty bag for the fire extinguisher. The silver car doesn't have a fire extinguisher, but I really think we might add one in there. It's something I think is a benefit for, well, all Ferraris just to have one in. Just had the delivery from Boy Ribbon. Now these guys have supplied me with some Alcantara. Let's be very careful here to redo the interior on one of my Stradales. So we have got some lovely red Alcantara. That's for my lower dash and a couple of other bits. Then, let's see if we can get the other bits out. Should also have in here some black. That's for part of my seats when I get round to doing those. And then the main bit, my top dash, is the grey. Look at that, beautiful. We're gonna have a lovely fresh interior on the car. Even transporting all the interior to the trimmers, well, we don't do things by half. It's going in this bad boy. Check it out, and you won't believe it, amazingly, look at that, it all fits in there. This is going off. Let's have a little look around the car. We got to get this done quickly, so it's going in the AMG. Check that out. That is the most radical colour. When the guys sprayed it here, I wasn't sure, but when it all came out, I definitely like this. Very, very cool car. It sounds amazing as well. Now this might come as a surprise, but all that Ferrari kit is going to my trimmer, which is 1,600 miles away in Albania. On a project like this and all those genuine parts that I have had to spend a vast amount of money on to buy, we need to save some money in all areas possible. Not only that, but Claudian and his team are the best in the business. The work he does is absolutely outstanding, and well, it's a little bit cheaper than here in the UK. I'm going to put a link to where you can find him in the description below the video, and you can check out some of his amazing work. We have got the full, genuine Challenge Stradale interior here, ready to go back in the car. Not only that, we've also got some extras, which were options on the Stradale, but not in the silver car when it was ordered, that we're going to be putting in this car to make it my perfect spec. Now, I've only ever seen one other set of Challenge Stradale seats go for sale, and they were asking, I think it was either 30 or 40,000 euros for the two seats. Incredible. Anyway, we got the seats. So this is the only other set that I've seen in 12 years ever go for sale. That's how rare they are. Another extremely rare item, steering wheel. This looks very similar to the normal 360, but very, very different. We got all of this. It's slightly lower here. We got this bit here, horn buttons up here, titanium here, and this one has just come back retrimmed because the original one that I picked up was actually all red. So we've retrimmed it to match the rest of the stuff. Radio box here. We've got door handles, lower dash, extremely rare. We have got all the carbon center console, everything here, all the buttons. Very, very difficult to acquire. So normally around here the trim piece is silver, oh sorry, it's black normally, and I've left it, or had it changed to silver to match the exterior of the car. Just a little subtle touch that I think looks really cool. The final thing is this roll bar. Now again, another factory option on the Stradale. I personally like it. I've got one in the black car. The silver car did not have one. It has got the harnesses, but not the roll bar. So we might retrofit the roll bar as well. So this will be my ultimate spec silver Challenge Stradale. But I kind of think it's a bit more of a gentleman's Challenge Stradale in this colour, with all the extra bits on it, including the radio. We haven't got the radio in the black car. It's all wired up, ready if I want to ever put it in there. I have got a subwoofer for that car as well, but we will be putting one in this car. So with all of that said, let's get on with it. So we can start off pretty much anywhere, but I think we're going to start off on the doors and work our way in. So we have these very, very nice, lightweight, massive bits of carbon to go on the inside of the doors here. And the other major difference between this Stradale and the normal 360 or Spiders is all to do with this mechanism down here. This is the door release mechanism for the inside of the car. Now, it's already installed on the car because I did it as soon as I bought a new one. We had to put all of this mechanism with the very expensive handles into the Spider, so I had no way of opening the doors from the inside of this car. So what was happening was, when I drove the car into the garage, I would make sure the doors or the windows were down so I could reach out and use this outside handle to open the door. Now, the other week I got in the car, I didn't have the keys, I had no way of getting the electric windows down. The windows were up, I shut the doors, and I suddenly realised that I was sat here on the driveway in the baking hot sunshine and I couldn't get out of the car. Right? So there was no way of getting these doors open, so I basically had to call Lexi, and she had to come and rescue me. I felt like a poor little dog in the car, trapped in the hot sunshine. Anyway, so I installed them very, very quickly as soon as I got them. So we're going to install these lovely carbon panels. So they're a little bit of a pain to do because you have to get all this bit right here. Install the top bit and make sure everything lines up. here, lips over the top, like so. And that bit goes in there. Now one of these door cards I managed to get as a used part. This one is the used one, you can see by the old glue here. So we got a couple of trim pieces to make in here and wrap them in Alcantara to make them look very pretty. The other one I had to buy brand new from Ferrari. Now I'm doing this really carefully. That's what you don't want to do. Just over tighten these and crack the carbon. The top dash is almost in, and the last little bit is just aligning the airbag. Now what you have to do is you use these spacers, you slide them in underneath, and then there's 4 bolts and 2 there, and that basically adjusts the height, and then you have to adjust it in and out just to make sure everything looks good. And well, that's taken a little bit of time, but I think it's okay. Maybe, yeah, no, that's good. I'm happy with that. Next to go in is this very iconic, very rare and extremely expensive instrument cluster. Now if you remember on the Spider build, we actually cannibalized this in order to create a very bespoke one for the Spider. So we had all the roof lighting and everything like that still on the dash. Now what I've managed to do is get another genuine original cluster, and what we've done is we've transferred the logic board from the silver car into this, so it's all original once again. Normally we slide that down and very carefully slide that behind there, get our connectors. 4 connectors. Did I say 5? So this is our Stradale dash vent with my slight modification to the rim there. Look at this. This is a standard Ferrari 360 dash vent from the Spider and the Modena. It looks so much nicer. Even got a prancing horse in the middle. The interior of the car is really starting to come together now. Lower dash is in, all of the upper dash is in, radio box is in. It looks absolutely fantastic. Radio is all working. We've got the woofer in as well, all of the tunnel is in, we've got a carbon console in with all of the switchgear, everything is working here. Now one of the major things I had a big problem with was getting hold of the parts, the switches for this, in particular two, and that was the reverse switch and the start button. Now I put a post out a while ago on Instagram, and my man Nicholas down in Spain helped me out with this one. He kindly gave me these switches. However, unfortunately, and he said this, the start button, there is meant to have a red cover over this saying start, and these are notorious for the buttons coming off, people lose them, and unfortunately that is the case with this one. So the good thing is it still works. I can start the car. Without this switch I couldn't start it. It doesn't work with the ignition barrel over there, as we struggled in a previous video on the 360 Spider to figure out how the Ferrari did it. Anyway, let me show you in my car what we're talking about, and hopefully somebody might just be able to help me out. So if we come in here, you can now see the stark contrast between my interior and the other one. So this is the start button down here. As you can see, it says start. Now mine has also come unstuck. It's just literally a cover, plastic cover, and you can see it just says starting. That's, I think it's meant to be white, to be honest, but it's got a bit dirty over the years. So maybe someone could 3D print one of these, and it just sits on there. You see, it's got the little hole in it, and that sits over the pin. I need to add a bit of glue to mine to make sure we don't lose two of these things. Anyway, if anyone's got any ideas, or anyone knows where there is a start button for a 360 challenge Stradale, please let me know in the comments. Next job on the build is all in this area. We've got the steering wheel to go on, and we've got some upgraded paddles here. Now I do have some original Stradale paddles to go on, but I prefer the carbon ones here. These are a carbon upgrade. Now they have special security bolts in here holding in the airbag. You got to take that out first very carefully. So we need to unlock all the steering column. I'm then going to shut the battery off for a safety precaution. Got to very carefully remove this, and then we can actually get to the steering wheel, and that also helps me change these paddles with a little bit more ease. Very, very simple. 2 little screws. Airbag to go back on now, and then we're done. And that completes our dash. Look at those beauties. Right, moving on. The next milestone on the project rebuild are those beautiful carbon fibre seats. Now, earlier on I touched on ridiculous prices people ask for those when you can find them. Obviously I didn't pay that for these. In fact, I had to buy 2 seats separately. One came from Eurospares. I'll be doing a video on that later because we did a tour of Eurospares at the same time. The second seat though came from America. Now, I saved money, but it wasn't exactly easy. Here's what happened. So I found a genuine Stradale right-hand seat advertised in Texas, which bizarrely had been converted to an office chair. Fortunately though, the original seat remained intact and nothing had been modified to attach the new base. So after a little negotiation, I bought it. My only problem was the chair was in the US and I was in the UK, so I jumped on a flight and met the chair in Florida, where my good buddy Sam Crack had stored it for me. More about that trip coming a bit later on. Naturally, it wasn't just for the seat, but we have an expensive carbon fibre seat, so how else do you get it back to the UK? You put it in a Christmas bag, you weigh it, and then you take it on the flight as oversized luggage. Did it make it? Look how big this bag is.
Oh my god.
Carbon fibre is broken, and we've got a problem. See any breakage?
No, it looks good.
Okay, top is good.
That looks good.
Oh, guitar's good. Oh, that's just loose because that's just loose there. That's fine. That was loose anyway because that's where the thing was. So, good, good, good.
Yeah? Success.
All right. Result.
What do they say? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's you, right? You say that all the time.
Ferrari managed to shed an incredible 100 kilos on the Challenge Rally over the normal 360 Modena. We're trying to figure out how they did it. In the previous video we weighed the brake system. Today we're going to check out the seats. Now the carbon seats, I can tell you, weigh 15 kilos each. I weighed them to ship them back. This is the standard seat, which is the electric version, leather. We're going to weigh this and see how different it is to 15 kilos. Straight away I can tell you it's a lot heavier. There we go, just rest that on there. 26.3, 11 kilograms more on the standard seat. Actually, while I think about it, there's one other thing I do want to show you guys on this car that was rather rare. In fact, I've never seen it on another Stradale spec from factory. So this car has got race harnesses, as you can see, factory option, but on the driver's side only, it also has a lap belt. Now, I was going to remove it, and that meant just taking the panel away here and then just modifying it, or just shutting all this panel off and then just re-trimming it. But I thought about it and I thought, well, actually it came like that from factory, so we'll just leave that option. And some people they prefer a lap belt to the harnesses. Me, I like the racy feel. Anyway, let's fit the seats. Gotta have harnesses. Just installed this new inertia switch cover without the carpets. Obviously the old one looked a little bit exposed with all the wiring. Ferrari did make an attempt to make it look a little bit pretty and blend in, so they made this little cover here, and they charged me almost £200 for the privilege of owning one. The next thing we're going to do is the little door switch here. Now both of these had lost the covers. In fact, the Spider had lost the covers, so I donated them from this car earlier on. I managed to get these rubber covers, so we're just gonna try and make this look better. These are super tricky. In order to fit the cover, you have to get it around this lip here, which is a bit impossible with it in situ, so you have to take it out. Okay, so the cover is on. Let's just get that behind there. Clip it in place. Now you really have to admire Ferrari for their amazing pricing structure. Take this rubberized bezel here, brand new, £15.70. Now these kind of things are known problems with the sticky buttons, sticky trims on these kind of Ferraris. This is actually the older one, but that is the brand new one, and like I say, £15.70 to get that new from Ferrari in stock. People pay a lot of money for those kind of trim bits to get redone at places like Sticky No More. Now let's compare that to this one tiny screw. That is it, two of them, one goes in there and one goes in there. £15.70 for our bezel, £28.53 for that one screw, and I need two of them. That's, with that, a lot of money. That's like £70 for these two screws. That's ridiculous. Well guys, there you go. That is the interior on the donut Stradale, almost put back to factory. Almost, because we do have a few little bits to finish off, like the start button here. If anyone knows how we can rectify that, I think it's going to be a case of maybe 3D scanning and printing a copy one from my black car over there. We'll take the one out of there. So if anyone's got any suggestions how we can do that, or who can do that for me, drop them in the comments below, because I can't buy one. Ferrari don't actually make them, along with most of the other stuff in here again. Now I've got to say a massive thanks to Claudian and his team for all of the work on the dash. It is impeccable. It looks like factory. It smells brand new in here, and people like Julian, who helped me out with the carbon surround here, again, bits you can't buy from Ferrari, and Ed, who transported all the stuff to Albania and back for me. Next video is going to be all back there in the engine bay, where we'll be sorting out the engine, the performance side of things for the Stradale. There was a lot of questions, a lot of comments in the previous video, so I'll run through those and address them in the next one. Until then, guys, you can check out what I get up to on a daily basis over on my socials. I'll see you very shortly in the next one. Ciao for now.